Namaskar dosto. Welcome to channel Toxicology on Board. Today in this video we'll be discussing with another DABT topic, that is mercurial organic fungicides neurotoxicity. So a lot of videos I have already uploaded in my channel with respect to mercury. As I told also, always read about metal toxicity. So there are different metals will be there. Okay, if you look into periodic table also, every metal, every element will have some or other toxicity will be there. Okay, so what is the application, what is the use, and what are the adverse effects of that metals? That is a very frequent asked question type or topic of question for the DABT examiner. So in this video we'll be discussing about. See, mercury also, I always say there are two types of, one is organic mercury, another is inorganic mercury. So, in this particular thing, we are discussing about organic mercury and that application in the case of fungicides and how the target organ is neurotoxicity. Okay. In the case of inorganic mercury, what was the target organ? Kidney will be there. Whereas in the case of methyl mercury or ethyl mercury, whatever the organic form of mercury, it is causing, remember that minimata disease, bioaccumulation, biopersistent, fetal toxicity, reproductive toxicity, CNS toxicity. These are the things which are organic mercury is causing. Make a notes, make flash notes if possible. Mercury, two types: organic mercury, inorganic mercury. What are the target organs? Okay, let's dive into the question. So the question is, let's see what is the question. What primary organ system is affected after consumption of grain treated with mercurial organic fungicides? So in the case of, we have pesticides chapter will be there. In that the pesticides may have various applications, weedicides, fungicides. So like that, agrochemicals, very important industry where toxicologists can have lot of jobs also. So in that fungicides, that fungicides which will apply onto the grains, onto the plant, so this one is containing this mercurial organic fungicides. What primary organ is affected, that you have to identify this question. So once again I'll read the question. See, what is the primary organ system is affected after consumption of the grain? The grain is there on which pesticide was applied, and that grain, if it is consumed by either by the human or the veterinary animals, grazing animals, so with mercurial organic consumption of grain treated with mercurial organic fungicides. So let's see what options we have. We have option A, respiratory system. Option B is liver, that is hepatic system. Option C is renal, that is kidney. Option D is nervous system. So we have to identify. The right answer will be in green text, that is nervous system. Okay. So what is the explanation and the reference which is given by the American Board of Toxicology? The nervous system is the target for the organic mercury compounds. As we discussed in the beginning of the video only, we have two different types: organic mercury, inorganic mercury. So organic mercury target organ is CNS. Apart from CNS, it also causes fetal toxicity. Remember that one. Thalidomide, not thalidomide, sorry, the minimata bay disease will be there, no, that you have to remember. Bioaccumulation, biopersistent, yeah, that should be there in your brain. So what is the explanation given, reference which is given by the American Board of Toxicology is castrated down, chapter number 8, sorry, 8th edition, page number 999. So those students who are preparing for the exam, they might be having 8th edition or 9th edition. In certain times, these particular they given 8th edition or 9th edition, the content some will be just 1 or 2 pages, back and forth will be there. So need not worry, you can follow either 8th edition or 9th edition, whatever it is. So in this they are given 8th edition, page number 999. So we will try to again, so a lot of information I have already discussed about mercury. So let's see what more new information that we can learn from this video. So directly going to mercury. So what are the symptoms and mercury intoxication, and these are the different conditions, how at various doses of exposure mercury, see, estimated body burden by the mercury. This is also important. As I said, no, mercury starts accumulating in your body, because of which it will cause body burden. So there are different, as the dose is increasing, how it is affecting. It is causing first paresthesia, there will be ataxia, then will be dysarthria, there will be deafness, and last will be the death at when the body burden of this particular will keep on increasing at that time. So these are the different symptoms of mercury intoxication, how they are affecting either your respiratory system, either different types, different organs they have given. You can please go and you can check. So let's see what is this mercury. It is present in lot of industries and natural resources, as I said. No, it might be there in the water bodies, in the soil, or in the plants, onto the plants, or the fruits and vegetables which we consume, on which also it will be there. Mercury cycles through the environment. In this point you have to remember bioaccumulation, biopersistence, all these things, biomagnification. Mercury vapor is a lipid soluble and has affinity for RBC and CNS. So whatever these chemicals are there, no pesticides, what nature of the chemical, either it should be water soluble or lipid soluble. In case of lipid soluble, what happens? It will not dissolve in your either rivers or water bodies, because of which it will remain in the environment, in the soil for a longer duration. Okay, because of its lipid solubility nature, it has high affinity for RBC as well as in your CNS. Because of this lipophilic nature, maybe it is able to cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, acute corrosive bronchitis and interstitial pneumonitis. These are the things which are caused in the case of respiratory, how it is affecting our respiratory system. Chronically, so acute exposure, what is happening? Corrosive bronchitis, okay, corrosive bronchitis as well as interstitial pneumonitis. So difficulties in your respiratory system, it is happening on single exposure, acute exposure, immediate exposure. Whereas in the case of chronically, CNS effects, okay, developing micromercury, small concentrations of mercury, micromercuryism will happen. That is why we are discussing about estimated bioburden here. And symptoms include tremors like this. The patients will show. A lot of videos are there about this Japan people who have been exposed this minimatter. There you can see. And tachycardia, there is an increase in the heart rate here. That's why they have given this one here. Increase in the heart rate, I guess. This one picture you can go back and check. Thyroid enlargement will be there. Okay, gingivitis will be there. Okay, and spasm of extremities, whatever the digits are there, no, extremities will be taking place. Swallowing mercury from the broken thermometer, there is a myth. Earlier, nowadays new generation Gen Z are seeing digital thermometer, but earlier there used to be mercury glass thermometer used to be there. In that small amount of mercury used to be there. So what it is saying is, swallowing mercury from this broken thermometer, it is of no toxicological significance since it is poorly absorbed from the GI tract. So this amount, whatever it is, even if you accidentally consume it orally, it is not going to cause any toxic effects because it will not be absorbed through the GI. Okay, the next mercuric but not methyl mercuric. So that is the difference you have to remember. Not organic. Induces metallothionein only in the kidney cells because localized in lysozymes in the renal cells. So you have to read in detail about the your what your kidney and various parts of the kidney. In that lysosomal cells will be there where this inorganic mercury will go and deposit. Okay, so becomes localized in the lysozymes of the renal cells, because of which it is causing metallothionein only in the kidney cells. So inorganic mercury characteristic feature is kidney organ toxicity. Okay, then next let us see methyl mercury. Till now something we have learnt about the elemental form of mercury, acute exposure and chronic exposure. Now we'll see methyl mercury. Again, it's a revision type. The major human health effects from exposure to methyl mercury is CNS toxicity, organic mercury CNS toxicity. Clinical manifestations of neurotoxicity include paresthesia. What is paresthesia? A numbness and tingling sensation around your mouth as well as around your lips. Okay, and ataxia, manifested as a clumsy stumbling gait and difficulty in swallowing and articulating words. So those people, they are unable to speech is disrupted, they cannot talk it properly. Okay, they cannot swallow the food properly, they cannot walk properly, there will be a gait and exposure, they cannot stand properly. Okay, those are the things. Okay, then next or other signs include neurasthenia, a generalized sensation of weakness. Okay, vision and hear loss, there will be having difficulty in listening as well as in the case of they will having difficulty in seeing. This vision disruption will also be there, and spasticity and tremor. As I said, no, these are the hallmarks of this organ methyl mercury exposure. These may finally progress to coma as well as death. So previous one, the graph you have seen, bioburden, that mercury, that you remember. As the dose increases, final thing is coma as well as death. Okay, neuropathological observations have shown that The cortex of the cerebrum and cerebellum are selectively involved with focal necrosis of neurons, lysis and phagocytosis, and replacement by glial cells. So what is happening in the case of when a person is there who is exposed to methyl mercury, you person or animal you take, particularly there is some kind of initial experiments were done when Minimata in Japan that has taken place. No, there are certain scientists who were working initially. What they did, they started collecting the clams or fishes from the water bodies in that particular Minimata Bay, and they made cats to eat it. Because earlier the experimental animals were not there established, I mean to say. So cats who consume the local fish, the clams, and that contain this mercury, methyl mercury, that cats know they started behaving very aggressively. They started jumping into the water bodies, and they started. See, animals never do such kind of behavior. They do not perform any suicide, but they were intentionally jumping, and they were doing. And initial some monkey trials and dog trials are also there, where the scientists what they have done, they have exposed the brain and they have performed histopathology. Then they have found that particularly these particular regions, what regions? Cortex of the cerebrum and cerebellum with focal necrosis of the neuron. So neuronal death, necrosis is happening, and lysis and phagocytosis, replacement of the glial cells. Glial cells are the one which are responsible for the transformation of information or continuity. Okay, so those glial cells are affected. Those cells are being destroyed by the exposure to this methyl mercury. These are the hallmarks to identify the CNS toxicity caused by the methyl mercury. These changes are most prominent in the deeper fissure of sulci. Gyri and sulci, you remember in the case of CNS, which are important for your gray matter and white matter will be there. No, the deeper fissures of sulci are affected, as in the case of visual cortex and insula, because of which there is a difficulty in vision as well as ear loss. It is there. So these are the hallmarks you have to remember. Okay. So the overall acute effect is cerebral edema. So water accumulation will be taking place, swelling edema, but with a prolonged destruction of the gray matter and subsequent gliosis, cerebral atrophy of the results. Okay, you have to remember this a study of the Iraq epidemic of methyl mercury. So apart from that, all people, many of us know about the Minimata disease, Chizo, Japan, this particular incident. No, in this particular page number 1129, they have also given another epidemic incident, that is in Iraq. What is happening? Exposure has provided dose response estimates of mercury required for the onset and frequency of the symptoms. So if any question comes with respect to everybody, question comes on Minimata, there might be answer. But one question, Iraq epidemics, like this, they will ask you. They'll make a frame a question and they'll give you. So don't get confused. It is there in the lesson only 1129 they have given. So go back there and check this particular epidemic incident also. So hope from this video you were able to understand about the different forms of mercury, that is inorganic mercury and organic mercury, and the classic target organs for each type of mercury. And in this video we have detailedly learnt about the CNS toxicity, how it is affecting, how the different parts of the brain are affected, whether it is gyri, sulci, or cerebral cortex, all those different regions of the brain, glial cells, how they are affected, and because of which there is a difficulty in the walking, breathing, memory, cognition, or speech, slurred swallowing. So many things are there. How it is impairing the vision also, that you have understood. Okay. So thank you so much. Be curious. For any questions, you can always write a mail to arya.priyanka18@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, and follow my YouTube channel Toxicology on Board. Namaskar. All the best for your exam.